It was another day of high drama for Brexit as British Prime Minister Theresa May traveled to Brussels to meet European Union leaders. She's seeking an extension beyond next Friday's March 29th deadline for the United Kingdom to exit the bloc. As Nick Schifrin reports, many options, some more painful than others, lie ahead in this next crucial week.
In these divorce proceedings, one side knows what it wants. French President Emmanuel Macron, German Chancellor Angela Merkel, and Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte all endorsed a short Brexit extension if and only if British Parliament endorses the Brexit plan.
We'll put this fairly and squarely again at the door of the British Parliament, because it is then for them to say yes to the whole thing.
But breaking up is really, really hard when the other side is infighting. Last night, British Prime Minister Theresa May blamed Britain's Brexit paralysis on Parliament.
So far, Parliament has done everything possible to avoid making a choice.
But much of Parliament blames her. Non-partisan Parliament Speaker John Bercow.
None of you is a traitor. All of you are doing your best. I believe passionately in the institution of Parliament, in the rights of members of this House, and in their commitment to their duty.
At no stage did she pause to consider whether it is in fact the way she is leading this government.
Dominic Grieve, a member of Theresa May's own Tory party.
She was now simply zigzagging all over the place, rather than standing up for what the national interest must be.
But Britain's political parties can't agree within themselves where that national interest is, says former Deputy Assistant Secretary of State for Europe, Heather Conley.
The challenge with Brexit is that it is no longer keeping parties together. It is, in fact, breaking them apart.
This will all come to a head over the next week. Today and tomorrow, the UK and European leaders meet in Brussels. On Monday and Tuesday, Prime Minister May will ask Parliament for the third time to endorse her Brexit plan. Option 1. May loses 30 to 40 of her own Conservatives, but gains support she hasn't had from Northern Irish coalition partners, the Democratic Unionist Party, and 30 to 40 opposition Labour members. Brexit proceeds, but at great political cost.
What happens to the Conservative Party? It is likely potentially to break apart after this deal is signed, because there's such deep division between those who wish to remain in the EU and those who wish to leave within the Conservative Party. But the Labour Party is equally as strained, and they will fracture along the lines of whether to remain close to the EU or to leave it without a deal.
Option number 2, the deal fails, at which point there are more unknowns.
We don't know whether she will resign if that vote is lost. We do not know whether there'll be a motion to call for a new election. We don't know whether we can turn to the European Union to see if they would consider a much longer extension.
That leads to options 3 and 4. The UK asks for a longer extension to try and come to consensus, or the UK leaves the European Union next Friday as scheduled without a deal.
The European Union is going to have to make a decision whether they are going to allow a no-deal crash out, harming the European Union economy as the UK economy, or they're going to give you an extension to the end of the year for 9 months. But in order to do that, the United Kingdom is going to have to participate in the European Parliament elections. Again, that decision will split the Conservative Party deeply.
Which means no matter what happens, the infighting will continue, as will the damage to the country that Theresa May leads, admits Foreign Secretary Jeremy Hunt.
And Brexit paralysis is incredibly damaging for the country. And so she's appealing to MPs and saying all of us in Parliament have a special responsibility to actually make sure we resolve this process.
Is the delay to Brexit acceptable?
Today, a reporter tried to ask Brexit defender Boris Johnson to comment on the mess. Sometimes it's easier to ride away.
Anything? Mr. Johnson?
For the PBS NewsHour, I'm Nick Schifrin.